What's up, guys? I'm Nathan, and I'm here with Spencer from the Fantasy Fanatics, and we're back. This is season 2, episode 1 of our podcast. We're getting back on the grind, getting you guys ready for the upcoming football season. Um, so for this first video back, we're going to go over some of our rankings. We're going to touch on our boom bust articles and our sleeper articles that we've released on our website. You can find that at the fffanatics.com. You can also find a lot of this content on our Twitter. What's our Twitter? Is it the FF Fanatics 3? Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And then also, lastly, we're going to talk about some handcuff rankings and whatever comes to mind throughout the conversation. So are you excited to get back on the grind for season 2?
Yep, I'm ready.
We started this, week 5?
I think it was week 4 or 5.
Yep. And so we passed 1,000 followers on Twitter. So big thanks to everybody. It's awesome. I don't know how many subscribers you got, like 20 something.
27.
Yeah, we're a couple away from getting that check mark. We're almost verified.
Yeah.
Merch coming. So what do you want to start with? Walk through the rankings? You want to talk about our rankings?
Yep, I'll get it up right now.
Sure. Let's see. And these rankings are very subject to change. A lot of things can happen. We're still 2 months away from the start of the regular season. Preseason's always kind of sketchy to get through. Weird situations such as like Deshaun Watson. There's just a lot that can still happen. So these rankings will be updated. I don't know exactly when, just whenever big news happens, injuries, trades, anything like that, we'll be sure to be updating it and letting you guys know. So what you see? What do you want to talk about first?
Looking right now.
How about the rookies?
Okay. I'm pretty high on Trevor Lawrence. We have them both ranked at 12.
Yeah.
And then after that is a big drop off to Zach Wilson at 22. You're not so high on Zach Wilson. You have him at 29. Then I have Mac Jones and Trey Lance. I'm kind of banking on them starting more games than Jimmy Garoppolo and Cam Newton. I guess we'll just have to see the camp battle and once the rumors. But I don't have them very high because I don't think they'll start,
That's fair.
But 9-10 games.
See, I'm a little different because I'm a believer in Cam. I think if he gets off to a hotter start, I think he keeps the job, but he could very easily be out of there like that if he slips up. If he plays like he did last year, I don't think he'll last like maybe 3-4 games. It's gonna be like Tyrod Taylor, wherever Tyrod goes, he just gets out of there, or somebody stabs him in the chest with a golf tee. It's gonna be like that. Like he's just gonna be out of there.
I see that you have Jalen Hurts at 7. I have him at 14. So you think Jalen Hurts will be a QB1 this year?
I do. I think he'll be a very good QB1 because of his running ability. I think getting Devonta Smith is a massive help. Are we assuming that Zach Ertz is out of there? Because if so, Dallas Goedert, I think, is going to be a monster. I think he's going to be his number one weapon.
You weren't very high on Goedert last year, though.
Well, that was last year. I mean, he was like a bottom tight end 1. But in terms of Hurts, I think it's really going to help him to have a solid, big target like that. And then if Miles Sanders stays healthy, it's just going to help Jalen Hurts.
Where's the ideal landing spot for Zach Ertz? Like fantasy-wise, what would be the best spot?
Oh,
if Deshaun Watson plays, I was thinking maybe somewhere like Houston, but they're like a rebuilding team. I don't think that they would really want to trade for him.
I mean, I know you're dying to say Buffalo, and it makes sense.
Well, I don't know if that's the best fantasy spot for him.
Well, but think about it. If he goes to Buffalo, he's going to be their number, probably 2 option?
I would still think number 1. I still think he's better than
above Stephon Diggs. No, I'm saying
no.
No, I'm saying like out of all their weapons, like their number 2 receiver. Or do you think All Pro Cole Beasley is above?
I think he'll be the 4th. I think he's the 4th.
Okay,
behind Gabriel Davis. Behind Gabriel Davis.
I know you're really high on Gabe Davis, but I don't know about that. I think if he lands in a spot where he's the solidified tight end 1, which there's only a few teams where I don't think he would be.
What about somewhere like the Chargers?
Yeah, I mean, that would be a good spot for him, and they love to throw the tight end.
Maybe the Colts with Carson Wentz again.
Maybe the Saints.
Maybe the Bengals.
The Bengals, I don't know. I think they really like.
I don't want him to get traded to the
Drew
Saints.
Sample.
I love Adam Troutman. Love Adam Troutman.
Just because he's a sleeper this year.
I have him higher than
you have
him at 27, and I have him at 14.
I'm not a believer. He could shock me, but I'm not a believer. I've got to see it first.
Let's go back to the quarterbacks, though.
Yeah.
Are there any other ones?
All these rankings on our website, by the way.
Are there any other ones on here?
Yeah, so let's talk about the Deshaun Watson situation. So we've both got him ranked. We've got a little asterisk there because.
So with you having him at 13, are you counting on him playing all 17 games? There's no way you rank him at 13 if he plays all 17, right?
That's tough. I mean, their team has gotten obliterated recently. His only weapon is going to be like Brandon Cooks. And then you're going to throw it to one of your 12 running backs you got now. David Johnson.
You're a huge believer in David Johnson.
I used to be. He
can line up in the slot.
But I mean, last year kind of proved that he's past his prime. He just don't got it anymore. Yeah. I mean, that man was running through mud or something. If you look at those highlights versus when he was damn near MVP on the Cardinals, it's night and day. It looks like somebody dropped him down into second gear.
Did he have a major leg injury?
I'm trying to think what got him. No, he broke his hand when he was out in Arizona.
Slow someone down though?
I think it's just confidence. Because I mean, when he was killing it, when he put up those crazy numbers that one year, I'm pretty sure he's RB1 that one year. Was it 20?
I know he was getting drafted.
2016.
Yeah, he was getting drafted as the RB1 that year that he broke his hand.
Yeah, because the previous year he had gone bonkers. It was kind of like Christian McCaffrey before McCaffrey. Like that sort of player.
Oh, no, not even close.
What do you mean not even close?
Not even close. Christian McCaffrey's night and day better than him.
No, but how he was playing, he was running the ball every play. He was getting just as many touches as McCaffrey is. I mean, if you put prime David Johnson in McCaffrey's situation, I don't think there's much of a difference.
Oh, no.
But his confidence has been killed, so I'm not too high on him.
All right. What's some other ones on here? Surprised you don't have Russell Wilson ranked in the top 3 there.
Well, I mean, we got a new offensive coordinator. Thank God. If he lets Russ cook, he could very easily jump into the top 3. Because before, what was it, week 7 or week 8, when Russ was number 1, DK was number 1. We had the number 1 passing offense. It was ridiculous. And then Schottenheimer was like, you know what? Let's pull the e-brake and let's just hand the ball off and start losing games.
I have a question. What's up with the hate on Jameis Winston here?
Well, we got to see some of what he would look like in a Saints uniform last year, and I get it. Part of it may have been because he was coming in at the end of games and they were just managing, but he just didn't look like the old gunslinger in Tampa. And they're going to be throwing in some Taysom Hill. I mean, he's got to win the job first. He's got to be the quarterback first.
And I don't think that's very hard.
I don't know. They yanked out Drew Brees last year, and I mean he was.
I totally skipped over Justin Fields here.
And you put him in.
You have him at 22.
Yeah.
And I have him at 30. Are you?
I think he takes the job from Andy Dalton pretty quick.
What week?
By week 4.
I still think he would finish above somebody like
Derek Carr. Yeah.
Really?
Patrick, yeah. Yeah, I mean he's going to be like a miniature version of Jalen Hurts. I think he's gonna be able to. It's just he just the offensive weapons he's got there. He's got A-Rob. He's got Cole Kmet, David Montgomery, Darnell Mooney. I mean, it's good, but it's nothing crazy. I'd much rather have Philly's weapons, to be honest.
You would rather have Philly's weapons than?
Can we start a trend? Can we free Travis Fulgham? Can we start a free Travis Fulgham?
Oh no, he is. I don't think he's good at all.
Dude, he was killing it last year, and then Alshon Jeffrey came back, and they were like, you know what? You can watch Alshon Jeffrey catch his 2 balls per game.
All right, I have a
I think he's
question.
good.
How tall do you think Jalen Hurts is?
Jalen Hurts, 6 foot. How tall is he?
6'1". How tall do you think Justin Fields is?
6'2".
6'3". You call Justin Fields a mini Jalen Hurts?
As in like how they play.
Oh, I thought you meant like a smaller Jalen Hurts.
No. How he plays. Like, I don't think he'll be running as much as Hurts does, and I think their throwing ability is pretty comparable. I personally like what Philly's got as a whole as compared to the Bears. The Bears do have a solid number one in A-Rob, obviously, that Philly doesn't really have unless, Jalen Reagor or Devonta Smith or somebody really comes on. So that'd be the only advantage.
All right, let's go to these.
I got a question. While we're on the quarterbacks, Sam Darnold, what do you expect? Good year, bad year, in between?
Where do you have him ranked? You have him ranked at 28. I have him ranked at 26. I have no idea. That's a total guess.
That's a guessing game. I completely agree.
I don't know. I mean, there's no way he finishes above somebody like Carson Wentz or Zach Wilson, right?
I don't know. I think it's going to be comparable to Derek Carr, how they've got these speedy receivers, Henry Ruggs, Brian Edwards, Darren Waller. I mean, they've got DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. And so it's going to be a lot of deep balls, I think. And both of those teams are going to be feeding their running backs. I mean, McCaffrey back, you got to get in the ball. And then, the Raiders have some obsession with having like 20 good running backs for no reason with Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake. So I think they're going to be pretty close. I don't think they're going to be starter worthy. I mean, maybe you'll have them on the injury bench or they're just floating around in free agency, depending on the size of your league. I wouldn't be reaching for them.
Who was that?
What do you mean?
Who were you talking about?
Both of them, Derek Carr and Sam Darnold.
I thought you were talking about Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake. I was like floating around on the waiver wire.
Oh, no. About Derek Carr and Sam Darnold.
All right, running back rankings. What are some notable ones here? Jonathan Taylor, not as high on him.
I mean, like, it's not necessarily a knock on Jonathan Taylor, but like, look at the guys in front of him, like Nick Chubb, Zeke. I think Zeke has a big bounce back here. Derrick Henry, Saquon. I mean, you can't go wrong. I just think he's a little bit limited. He's kind of similar to Nick Chubb. He's a little bit limited in his pass catching. And I think Carson Wentz will be throwing the ball to the receivers more than Phillip Rivers likes to throw the ball to his running backs. You saw it with Eckler and for the Chargers. And I think Nyheim Hines, good competition. If Marlon Mack has recovered from his Achilles, he should be well in the competition. So I don't think Jonathan Taylor is necessarily like in a committee, but he's definitely going to lose some touches to those guys. What do you think?
Well, Marlon Mack's coming off that injury. I think Jonathan Taylor, I think it's realistic around 20, 22 touches a game behind the best offensive line, if not the best top three.
Yeah,
it just all depends on how Carson Wentz plays. If Carson Wentz goes out there and like last year, then, I mean, it only hurts Jonathan Taylor because then they'll stack the box. But if he goes out there like MVP Carson Wentz, then, I mean, Jonathan Taylor could very well finish as the RB1 this year.
So I don't think he's got that kind of ceiling. I really don't. Like, I don't see him outperforming like a Derrick Henry or a Nick Chubb, somebody who's just through and through runner. I think another name to throw into that mix as like just a tough running kind of guy is Najee Harris. I think he can be in the mix with those guys as well. Because if they feed him like they wanted to feed James Conner, who was just incompetent at some points, I don't see why he couldn't be up there.
And not a big Joe Mixon guy, huh? I mean,
Joe Mixon
if Joe Burrow goes out
mystery
there and plays like he did the first few weeks last year, I mean, they got Jamar Chase, they got T. Higgins, and they got Tyler Boyd.
Drew Sample.
CJ Usoma's better, but
they start Sample.
No, CJ Usoma. We can place a bet right now that CJ will have a better season than Sample.
100%. Name your number.
Okay, give me that all day.
Yeah.
I mean, let me go to the tight end rankings real quick. I think I have CJ pretty high, too. Let me go look. I mean, what have you seen out of Drew Sample?
Or just the fact that they like to throw to him.
Oh, no, I don't have CJ so high. I have him at 29. Where do you have Drew Sample ranked? I don't even think you have him ranked, do you?
No, I mean, like, they're gonna have so many weapons. I don't see him being like a startable tight end by any means, but I think he's gonna be relevant. I think he could be the kind of guy you could pick up off the waiver wire and plug him in if you need him. He had a few good weeks last year, but I don't think the big question mark around Joe Mixon is Joe Burrow. I think it's Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon has all the talent in the world.
See, I don't know. Like I think he's pretty inconsistent. He's got the injury problems. You just never know. He's like, if they like to feed him when he's in there, it's just a big if he can get it together and put a full season together.
Any other notable ones? I see where I have Mike Davis pretty high.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that necessarily.
I love Mike Davis this year. That's probably my second favorite sleeper this year.
My only concern is Atlanta offensive line, to be honest, and a combination of that with Matt Ryan getting so old, they lose Julio. I get they're replacing him with Kyle Pitts. I don't think Kyle Pitts is necessarily going to be Julio. Calvin Ridley, obviously a stud. But other than that, they're going to be lacking
Arthur
weapons.
Smith, their offensive coordinator, came from Tennessee, who loved to run the ball, had a run scheme. And if he carries that over to Atlanta, Mike Davis is easily a top 10 running back.
If you have Derrick Henry, you implement that run scheme.
I mean, even in games where they didn't have Henry, all they did is run and play action, it felt like.
If his lead running back was Darrington Evans, shout out fellow App State alum Darrington Evans, if that was his lead back, there's no way that's the same offense.
But Mike Davis isn't Darrington Evans. Mike Davis filled in for Christian McCaffrey pretty well last year.
I think Mike Davis is a whole lot closer to Darrington Evans than he is Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's he's just different. It's like trying to tackle a bus. I mean, and then he doesn't take big hits either. Like, why would you not give him the ball 30 times a game? Where Mike Davis, he just doesn't have that. No disrespect to Mike Davis. He's a decent player.
No, this is all disrespect to Mike Davis.
No. How many touches do you think Mike Davis averages?
What was that?
How many touches do you think Mike Davis averages per game?
20.
I was going to say like 16, 15 or 16.
20.
I just don't see it. I think Atlanta's offense in general might suffer, but I think Ridley and Pitts are both going to be studs. Everybody else
and he's even a good receiving back. I don't understand the hate on Mike Davis.
I don't know if he's a good receiving back. I think that's a stretch. I think that's the system he was in. When you're filling in for McCaffrey, you've got to catch balls. They're not going to change the whole scheme just for you.
Well, we can agree to disagree.
How about the James Robinson, Travis Etienne duel?
All right, so you have James Robinson at 22.
Yeah.
I have James Robinson at 30. Huge James Robinson guy. Absolute mess up by the Jaguars front office there. Shout out to Robbie, though.
Shout out Robbie for calling it, yeah.
I mean, he said it from back when after week 2 of James Robinson. He said it's going to suck when Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence get there.
Dude, when they announced that Etienne was their pick, like I was in the same room with Robbie. We lost it. It was unbelievable. But how do you think they're going to get along in the same backfield?
Split 50-50. I mean, maybe to start off the season, they'll, give James Robinson 70-30.
See, I can see a lot of scenarios where in the backfield together.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that sucks.
Well, I mean, that means you've got DJ Chark on one side.
Are you going to trust any of those guys as your RB2s?
Yeah, I would put James Robinson as a solid RB2.
Absolutely not.
I have to see it from Etienne first.
I would like to see in camp what position Etienne's playing. I don't think he's going to be a straight running back.
Who would you compare him to? Like a
smaller Le'Veon Bell. Like with his pass receiving skills. Like
a prime David Johnson.
No, not at all. No, like a not as good Le'Veon Bell. Like a smaller, not as good Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. Maybe Le'Veon Bell.
Who would be your best comparison to?
Tariq Cohen.
Wow.
That kind of player. Tariq Cohen last season before he got hurt, he was playing wide receiver.
The Jaguars' second best receiver this season will be Travis Etienne.
Whoa. I don't know about that one. They've got they've got Marvin Jones. They've got who else is there? DD?
Fine. Third best.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, James Robinson was fine in the passing game last year. He was nothing to, go crazy over, but I thought he did fine in the passing game.
All right.
And they're going to give it to him, although Carlos Hyde is there too, and Carlos Hyde loves to steal the show. He did the same thing with Nick Chubb.
There's no way Carlos Hyde gets touches.
We said the same thing when he was in Cleveland, when he was in Seattle. We were like, no way. And then,
but he's RB3 now. There's no way he gets touches, right?
Well, I think he comes in for James Robinson because last year James Robinson had no competition, and this year they at least have competent running backs. So I think you won't see him just in the game the whole time.
Is there a chance James Robinson was just a one-year wonder potentially?
I think I don't know if a one-year wonder is the right term because he showed he had talent, but they had no choice. When you got Gardner Minshew back there, you got to give him the ball.
That was such a bad team. If you think about it right now.
It was a bad team that had a few very talented players. Like I think Chark is a great player. And now they just added Marvin Jones, so they've got two deep threats. Like, I don't know. Makes it very interesting for Trevor Lawrence.
So who's the starting running back in Arizona?
Dude, I don't know. And I'd probably stay away from either until I saw. Like, I would not reach for either one of them. James Conner showed that in Pittsburgh, behind a very good offensive line, that he just he's so slow. Like he runs hard. He's like Chris Carson, but he's much slower. And Chris Carson is no speedster. And he struggles catching the ball. Chase Edmonds, when Kenyon Drake was out, showed like dude's got it. Like he can step in there and be a 3-down back if need be, when there was nobody else there. So,
all right, so say if James Conner goes down with injury.
Oh, I'd put Chase Edmonds as a RB2.
Where would you rank him?
Probably around the upper teens. Probably upper teens. Like 18, 19, that kind of range. And James Conner going down with injury is very likely. The dude's made of glass. I mean, he's one of the toughest dudes, but you just blowing him the wrong way, he's going to pull something. Why? Where would you?
Where would I take him?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, so I have a question. I'm going to totally skip your.
I was going to say, maybe let us know today.
I'm going to totally skip your question.
All right.
So say if you go running back, wide receiver, and then tight end. All right. And then the best running backs available are Raheem Mostert.
He won't be there.
James Conner, James Robinson, Chase Edmonds, and Kareem Hunt. Who are you taking?
Mostert, 100%.
You don't think Trey Sermon's a threat?
Wait, hold on. Run me through this again. It was Mostert.
It was Mostert.
Yep.
It was Connor.
Yep.
It was Robinson, Fournette, Edmonds.
I think if Robinson's there, yeah, I think I would go Robinson.
I think you're valuing James Robinson too high here.
I don't. I mean, I think their
he's
offense
in a shared backfield.
Like, I get it, but I think he's going to make up for that because Trevor Lawrence is going to improve that whole offense. They're going to be scoring more. Trey Sermon's a legit factor for Mostert, and Mostert has had his health problems. I mean, just a few years ago, he went to brace himself, and his arm looked like a pretzel when he broke it. I mean, he did. And then
he's so fast. He's so fun to watch.
I think he's a great running back, but he's always in a committee. I mean, it's kind of weird.
All right, let's go to some wide receivers.
Sure.
All right, the first topic. It's going to be Michael Thomas. You have him as wide receiver 7. Mm-hmm. I have him as wide receiver 2. You have DK Metcalf at wide receiver 1, which is absolute blasphemy. That is no.
I think with a new offensive coordinator in Seattle, like, if they just please, full transparency, massive Seattle fan, if they just let Russ cook, DK will easily lead the league in yards, and he'd be my pick to lead in touchdowns.
I don't think so.
I mean, if in that scenario, say the whole season goes like the first 8 games of last year, where they were actually letting Russ cook, where would you rank DK?
Where would I rank DK? As wide receiver 3.
Behind Adams and Thomas?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not mad at it because, the top, I'd say 7. Yeah, the top 7, I don't think you can go wrong. I think they're all, set.
If Jameis Winston wins out this starting job, and if he wins out the starting job, and he looks like anywhere near what he did in Tampa Bay, minus 30
picks.
Exactly. I think he easily.
He's easily top 5.
Maybe even wide receiver 3. I mean,
I completely understand it because I was the one who was calling for Michael Thomas to be one of the best receivers before he came on. So I get the hype, but I just don't see how you can put him above Adams. You got him above Diggs, Hopkins, Tyreek, Ridley, DK,
and that's as a Bill. That's as a Bills fan too.
Well, see, I think Stefan's obviously a great receiver. I don't think he's going to be as great as he was last year.
I'm going to show you something else real quick. I'm going to show you something else. Want to go to this real quick. This is odds to lead the league in receiving. What is the best bet right here?
DK Metcalf 14-1.
Look at Michael Thomas 16-1.
But that's with Drew Brees forcing him the ball.
Absolutely ignore this ad to the right. We don't give out free ads here. No, you got to pay us. But I
mean, if I was gonna go with scroll down a little,
Calvin Ridley has the second best odds.
I'm not mad at that at all. Scroll down a little bit. I'm gonna give you a Hail Mary if you're gonna put some money on it.
I think Jamar Chase is the 40-1 odds.
Keep going.
Robert Woods 50-1 odds. I love that too.
Keep going. There's none there sticking out to me. Keep going. Keep going.
I don't think there's any there.
All right, scroll up a little bit. A home run, I'd go Jerry Jeudy. If I'm just throwing
I love Jerry Jeudy. If he fixes that draw problem.
Well, but last year he did that without Cortland Sutton. And I think Cortland Sutton's a better receiver than Jeudy. What about for rushing?
For rushing, what is the best bet right here? Lamar Jackson has 33-1 odds.
Well, let's go. If you had to pick one, you can pick Henry, even though he's the favorite. And then we'll also go best bet.
Aaron Jones and Antonio Gibson right there look good. Alvin Kamara, 50-1 odds. I guess he's not really much of a receiver. I like J.K. Dobbins if Lamar Jackson would stop hogging all the carries. Mm-hmm. I don't think Melvin Gordon and Clyde Edwards-Helaire have the same same chances. Best bet, I would probably go with Jonathan Taylor.
Really?
No, I'll say Zeke at 12-1.
So if I had to pick one, I'm 100% going Derrick Henry to lead the league. As far as best bet, I would go Najee Harris.
One long shot?
Najee Harris.
What's one long shot?
Oh, Melvin Gordon. That's ridiculous. He should not be on there. Not a chance.
Let's look at quarterback passing yards real quick.
Were you referring to one long shot that I would pick?
Yeah, what's we'll go back to it. What's someone down here that you would,
I'd go Sanders. Miles Sanders.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's got the home run ability. He's super fast.
Passing yards leaders. I'm staring at this Jameis Winston 33-1 odds.
If I was a betting man, I'd go Ryan Fitzpatrick. If I was gonna just try and hit a Hail Mary.
I don't think he starts all year either.
I think he does. Because I think that team's gonna surprise people. I think it's gonna be them and the Cowboys for who wins the division. And then if I'm picking somebody that I think will lead the league in yards, give me Dak.
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott.
No, that's how they spelled it.
And then as far as somebody that decent odds,
Deshaun Watson. No, he didn't really have much receivers.
Yeah, no. That's tough. Daniel Jones, maybe? I mean, he's got competent receivers. He's got a legit number one in Galladay.
Absolutely not.
I mean, that's like a home run. That's like absolute Hail Mary.
Absolutely not. I don't think so.
It's Saquon. I'm a massive Saquon fan. I'm a believer.
All right, let's go over to some other articles we have on here.
Sure.
Let's go to the sleepers. Number one. Who else would it be?
Mm-hmm. Is this your man crush? Is this your James Robinson of this year?
No. I think my man crush this year, if I had to choose one,
let's give me Mike Davis. 100%.
Between Mike Davis, Michael Thomas, love Jalen Waddle if Tua could,
See, I don't think
we have not talked about Kyle Pitts at all.
We'll get there. I don't think Jalen Waddle is going to be his team's number one receiver.
Jalen Waddle is absolutely electric.
So is Will Fuller. I think Will Fuller's
but can he stay healthy for 17 games?
Well, he's going to be suspended for the first?
Yeah, I think it's one
just
game.
The first game. And then they also have Devontae Parker, who I'm not really a big fan of.
Nah, I think he's maybe a better Mike Williams. He's
Mike Gesicki, I've hopped off the train.
No, that was bad comparison. I'm sorry. Not Mike Williams. I take that back. You're not a fan of Mike Gesicki?
I did not like the way they used him. They had 3 tight ends, and I swore he played the least out of all 3. And when he was out there, Tua would sling his little noodle arm.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Out there.
Watching this Broncos versus Patriots AFC Championship, and Tom Brady just almost hurdled the dude for the first down here. He ran about 15 yards.
Why are you? The first question: why are you watching that?
It's on NFL Network.
I gotcha.
No free shout out to NFL Network either. My goodness.
All right, wow. Kyle Pitts. Let's get to Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts.
I'm a massive believer. I would say if you're in round 5 or 6, if you've got solid running backs and receivers, and Pitts is still there, I'd reach for him.
There are 2 people I'm reaching for this year.
Mm-hmm. One is Josh Allen.
No, can't reach for him
Josh
anymore.
Allen, Stephon Diggs.
Where's the appropriate time to draft a quarterback?
A quarterback? I tell everybody who asks me about this,
I think once you have James Robinson and Travis Etienne as your running, no. I think once there are no.
Well, here's how I'd approach the draft. I want to get three running backs minimum, 3 receivers minimum, and a tight end before I even think about going quarterback. Because there's so many that put up points. Like I get Mahomes, Josh Allen, like the top fantasy ones. They're gonna give you a bump in value, but there's
no Lamar Jackson chart out there.
Nah, I don't think he's got it.
Whoa, what?
Nope. His number 1 receiver is gonna be what? Sammy Watkins.
No,
and they're gonna stack the box. They're gonna stack the box, or Marquise Brown.
Do you remember that bet we placed earlier? I totally forgot it.
Let me think. It had something to do with the tight ends. CJ Uzomah. Drew Sample and CJ Uzomah. That was what it was.
I have Kyle Pitts above Darren Waller. I'm going to get a hate for that.
I mean, I've got Pitts right behind Waller. I think they're very comparable.
I'm not as high on Darren Waller as on people.
The difference is the Raiders will force the ball to Darren Waller, where we have to wait and see if Atlanta's going to force the ball to Pitts. I would not be surprised. I mean, dude's a stud. Dude Privity's a stud. It's a freak.
All right, so you have Dallas Goedert at tight end 10.
Yeah.
Are you counting on Zach Ertz being there?
No.
When we rank at Ertz at 17, what are we
like? That's just an unknown. Like we have to be clear that like these rankings are going to change. Like say Zach Ertz goes to the Bills, and he's like, which is where I think he's going.
I don't think he moves up or down.
I would move him up. I would take him above Higbee, Smith, above Hunter Henry, above Gesicki, above Irv Smith. I'd put him right there with like Fant and Goddard. Yeah. Very bottom end, like high end tight end 2, bottom end tight end 1. So tight end is a position where it's normally very, very top heavy and gets very thin.
So will Taysom Hill be listed as a tight end or a quarterback this year?
Dude, I don't know. I have no idea. I guess it depends on Jameis. If who wins the game.
Tight end. I don't have him high either. I mean,
I think he's got a little value. I wouldn't say he's a weekly starter. But what I was saying earlier is kind of goes to this point is tight ends usually always very top heavy. So who is your one tight end from like say below the top, I don't know, 15? Who you could
Adam Troutman.
Adam Troutman. Here we go with this nonsense.
Because
you saw when Jameis was throwing, OJ Howard was just an absolute animal in fantasy. The dude who had
CJ Uzomah, Cole Kmet.
I like the Cole Kmet call. I'm not mad at that.
Jared Cook on the Chargers.
No,
could potentially be a sneaky one.
I don't think so. Too old. He's what 30. He's got to be what 34.
Why are you so high on Gerald Everett? Is that because he's a Seattle Seahawk?
Well, my thinking is
I don't even have him ranked.
That's just nonsense. My thinking is Jacob Hollish is gone. He's on the Bills. And so Greg Olsen retired. And so the only competing tight end is Will Dissly. And I'm a much bigger fan of Gerald Everett than Will Dissly. And so if he can be a solid, like if he can win the job outright and be the third option, I think he's a surefire tight end too. Russ loves the tight ends.
I don't know about that.
He does. The problem is we always have like 4 that rotate.
Do we go to kickers?
No,
I don't think we do.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll give you some kicker advice closer to the season.
Yeah, that can be your job.
It's not important. I don't mind. Draft Young Ho, and you're guaranteed.
Young way.
There you go. All right.
Are there any here that stand out?
See, you made all these, and there's nothing that stands out. I'm like, like I'm not mad at any of them. I would say Jalen Waddle as a wide receiver too, just off of what I see, might be kind of early to tell.
I did a mix between some of these. Some of these were my rankings. Some of these were yours.
Mine from when? From last year?
No, from this year.
I haven't touched.
No, like based off your rankings, like your season ranking.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so some of them are like a mix.
Someone who I see on there who we haven't touched on, who I think could very easily be fantasy relevant and be a potential league winner is Michael Carter.
Hey, hold on a second.
Yeah, I saw you put him on there. Like, I'm in agreement.
I know. Spencer knows. If it does improve, Carter could be a mid to late round steal. Yeah,
that's a guy who I don't think he's going to have the job right away, but could very easily. Tevin Coleman's very injury prone. Michael Pirine is garbage. And so if Michael Carter is competent, him and Zach Wilson could have a nice little connection. And I don't know, maybe they surprise some people. They just need weapons. Who they got now? Corey Davis is the number one.
I think
that's no bueno.
No, what's so funny is that New England picked up Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar, and people acted like they, got Chad Ochocinco and Terrell Owens over there.
Yeah.
I mean, Mac Jones doesn't really have anybody to throw to except those two stud tight ends. I think Jonnu was also
criminally misused.
No, the opposite. I think he was an effect of how that offense was ran.
Because like Derrick Henry.
Because of the play action and how they used him. I think they used him very well.
Well, they didn't really throw to him that much. He's obviously talented. The dude can fly. I mean, he's arguably the fastest tight end in the league. But when you're handing the ball off to Henry 30 times, and then you only have 30 throws available, you're sending 10 of those to AJ Brown. You're sending 7 or 8 of those to Corey Davis, and then he was getting scraps. I mean, some of those were going to whatever backup running back was in the game. Some would go to Derrick Henry. I mean, it was slim pickings. And so if Cam really is back, I mean, he could have like him and Hunter Henry could combine for like a Greg Olsen Panthers kind of vibe, because there's nobody to throw to.
I want to mention this. I saw a report earlier. This is totally off topic, but Tom Brady was playing this season with a fully torn MCL. Yeah. That happened in 2019.
Yeah, I saw that. That's kind of wild.
I don't know if that's like a serious injury. I'm not.
No, like that's a major ligament in the knee.
Yeah, like I was thinking that. I'm not the biggest doctor out here, but I mean that sounds painful.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got those massive knee braces on.
It obviously affected him a lot. I mean,
yeah, he struggled last year.
I mean, imagine him playing on a good leg this season with that team.
Yeah.
Is that team going to win 14, 15 games?
I'm going to say yes.
Wow.
Because their defense is insane. Their offense is insane.
They have the best linebacker in the NFL.
That's just false.
Devin White.
That's just false. Unless Bobby Wagner just got traded and I didn't hear about it. Just false. That's
Devin White.
That's unbelievable.
But, I mean, they have the best linebacker duo. Like, that's not up for debate. Like, Devin White and Levante David are the best linebacker duo. Like, inside linebackers.
Give me Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams is really a linebacker.
He should be a linebacker.
He should not classify as a safety.
He's like
if you saw him in some of his, coverage last year,
we're not going to talk about it. All right, let's move on. Watching him trying to guard Stephon Diggs last year when we were at your house and Stephon Diggs was running circles around him, that was hard to watch. But hey, he gets some sacks.
All right, let's go through some handcuff rankings. Who is the best handcuff in fantasy football besides Kareem Hunt? Is it Tony Pollard? Is it
Latavius Murray?
Yeah, okay. That's what I was thinking.
I'm going to say
Latavius Murray could start on 10 other teams. He would start in Buffalo.
He would start for the Jets. Start the Jets.
He would start for the Patriots.
I think he would start for the Falcons.
I think he would start for the Dolphins.
I think he would have a solid shot at the Bucs starting job.
I think he could start for Arizona.
Yep, that's what I was about to say.
I think he could start for. Let me go through some more here.
Denver,
maybe.
I mean, they're all kind of. We got to see Javonte Williams, I think.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's like clear cut. He could start. He could compete for.
He could compete with people. He could compete with like Damon Harris, J.K. Dobbins.
He's so good too. He was so good in Oakland.
I think so good's a little bit of an overstatement, but he was decent.
Let's go to his stats in Oakland.
He's okay.
Let's see. Stats.
He had like one good year.
Yeah, but still, I mean, then he signed with, I think it was Minnesota, where he never got touches. I don't know. I don't know why he keeps signing to these places where he's not getting any touches. I say he was a Pro Bowler. I think I was overestimating how good Latavius Murray was that year, potentially.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Who's your number one handcuff?
My number one handcuff, either Latavius or Tony Pollard.
Yeah, I think with Dak back, Tony Pollard's a good shout. Who else?
Maybe
what about
Tony
Snow? Tony Snow?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Darrell Henderson, I think you can take him off. I'm not a fan.
Wow, really?
Not a fan. No.
So if
Madison's just going to
they don't have Cam Akers, they don't have Malcolm Brown.
Malcolm Brown was terrible. Let's be real. And Cam Akers had 4 good games last year. That was literally it. And people are overreacting.
But they were feeding Cam Akers though. They freed Cam Akers.
It was a hot hand kind of deal because they were feeding Darryl earlier in the year. Like it's just that's just how McVay goes. When you're gonna not feed Todd Gurley when he's there, regardless of his mystery knees, like there's something to that. It's just a hot hand kind of deal. That's why I'm so low on Cam Akers.
Yeah, people are acting like Cam Akers should be taken in the first round.
Never. I wouldn't take him.
I also think the same thing about Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb is the second most talented running back in the NFL. No hate towards Nick Chubb, but he is also back there with a top 10, top 15 running back. I mean, if Kareem Hunt wasn't there, he would be my RB2.
Let's think about this. If Kareem Hunt was still in the Chiefs? If none of that,
let's go to our rankings.
Dude, if Kareem Hunt was on the Chiefs and it wasn't Clyde, like you saw what he could do his rookie year. Dude. Well, it'd be
so Clyde on the Chiefs.
It'd be
Clyde on the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. I think Clyde got 15, something like that.
And then we got Kareem Hunt on the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got all right. Nick Chubb all alone in that backfield. Nick Chubb is my RB2. Kareem Hunt is my RB4.
I would have moved Chubb up all that much. I'd probably keep him about the same, to be honest.
Wow, really?
Dude, they feed him like crazy. They still feed him.
They would feed him even more.
I don't think they would. I think they'd go to like some Dontrell Hilliard kind of thing.
No way. Nick Chubb is so electric to watch, though.
Dude, he's a 80-yard touchdown waiting to happen. He's like a less flashy, like Saquon when he runs. How you're like, okay, this one could bust for 80, like that. It's kind of Miles Sanders as well, Aaron Jones, like they've all got that. Dalvin Cook, they've all got that. But if Kareem Hunt was still in the Chiefs, he'd be. I may take him first.
Really, over McCaffrey?
Dude, I mean, he was a different breed. He was a different breed on the Chiefs.
But that was also before they went. Well, no, I take that back. Take that back. So, handcuff rankings. Let's go through some boomer bust. We're still editing the format of this.
Yeah, I mean the whole website's gonna be redone. I think. Give you a cleaner look. And this is not boom bust. This is not boom bust. This is overvalued and undervalued.
This is overvalued and undervalued, but kind of the same thing.
No, not at all. Not at all. This is based on just draft value. And this, where it says boom, This is the undervalue. The one that sticks, the three that stick out to me are all three running backs. I think if you get any
Damian
of them,
Harris is being taken way.
Dude, he's a stud.
I wouldn't say he's a stud.
He's a stud. Dude, it's a stud.
I wouldn't say he's a stud.
If they get rid of Sony Michel, like just cut him out, get Mac Jones back there so that Cam's not stealing him. Whew. Dude, that's gonna be something serious.
And then Najee Harris, I think 14 is a good spot for him.
I'm a massive believer.
But that offensive line is potentially one of the worst.
No, I don't think so.
I think it is. I mean, they got rid of some pieces on that offensive line. Big Ben is 52 years old. They got 3 really good receivers and a really good tight end.
Yeah, you can't stack the box against them. Like, it's impossible.
Yeah, but I think that also takes away touches.
And he's perfect for Pittsburgh, like the just beat him down kind of running back. Like a baby Derrick Henry kind of running style.
So, and he's at Alabama, he really wasn't like super speedy.
Well, he was fast. I mean, he was no Saquon, but like he will run you over. It's like I really do think it's a baby Derrick Henry kind of vibe.
All right, and then some other ones. What other one is notable to you? David Montgomery is RB21. You're not counting on Tariq Cohen to be anything?
No, last year Tariq Cohen was playing receiver. Like I don't think that's a factor at all. And Matt Nagy just came out the other day saying that he wants to get Montgomery at least 20 touches a game.
Yeah, but wanting to and doing that when you have Tariq Cohen back there. I mean, Tariq Cohen
is 5'7".
But
he's like a slot receiver. He's a glorified.
He's a better receiving back
than Montgomery. Montgomery's he's a solid receiver. Like it's no it's no shot at him, and he's clearly the best running back in that backfield. I mean, I expect a big year again. I don't think there's going to be that big of a drop off from how he ended last year.
So Cooper Kupp at 25.
Scroll down. Who's the third receiver?
Hold on 1 second.
Corey Davis.
I count on him being wide receiver 1 in New York.
I think he's undoubtedly their number 1.
All right, so you went with. Is this ADP or is this your rankings?
No, this is based on ESPN's rankings.
ESPN rankings. Okay.
Yeah. Which I think closely mirrors the ADP the last time I looked.
So Cooper Kupp at 25.
I think it's a steal. With Stafford back there.
Let me look something up real quick. So Cooper Kupp at 25. This is non-PPR, correct?
Half point
PPR.
Half point. That way we can kind of be in the middle of both formats. But, I mean, these can easily be adjusted for either way. There's really not that big of a difference in the rankings, in my opinion.
All right. Cooper Kupp at 24. Robert Woods at 20.
I personally prefer Kupp to Woods.
Really?
Yes.
I think Woods is the better receiver.
I don't. That's a Buffalo. That's a very Buffalo thing to say.
Well, Robert Woods is very, very good.
I think it's no shot at Woods, dude. I just think Kupp's a baller.
If only Josh Reynolds was still there.
What's your thoughts on Corey Davis?
Corey Davis?
I mean, you're getting a team's wide receiver 1 at 45. Like, I think that's a bargain because Zach Wilson could be.
Well, I have him ranked at 35. So I mean, that is absolutely way too low on Corey Davis.
And he showed he's got some talent on the Titans.
Yeah, but that was, being the 4th option in that offense.
Yeah, let me get this out. We're 2 months away from the start of the season. At the very bottom of the list there, you see the league winner this year, Tyler Higbee.
No. What?
See, the problem was last year the Rams had 2 league winners on their team. and they just got to get them apart so that they're both league winners in Higbee and Everett. That was the problem. That was the problem.
What?
Oh yes.
I am not. Like I am not associated with that.
Oh, you associate that with me by myself.
All right, so.
And these are people who I think are overvalued at their current draft position. Do you see a common theme with the quarterbacks?
I do. Older quarterbacks.
Exactly.
Why do you think Aaron Rodgers the league MVP?
That's a multitude of reasons. The cloudiness over where he's going to play.
I think he definitely plays in Green Bay. I don't see how Green Bay even thinks about trading him.
It's hard to say. I think. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's really
so AJ Brown at 7. Not a fan of that.
Yeah, I think with Julio there, I think Julio's the number one receiver in Tennessee.
And how about DeAndre Swift? I've had people ask me about him. I'm a fan of Jamal Williams. I think he was very good in his backup role with Green Bay. I think he definitely plays a factor. Earlier this offseason, I think it was Dan Campbell that came out and said that DeAndre Swift is 1B, Jamal Williams is 1A. I think that was before minicamp started.
That's nonsense.
But if that is the case,
that's nonsense.
During training camp, I don't know.
Nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Jamal Williams, like he had decent numbers in Green Bay, but that was the perfect storm because for some reason Aaron Jones was always handcuffed. They wouldn't just let him eat.
And now he's still going to be handcuffed with A.J. Dillon.
A.J. Dillon, yeah, they probably will. We already touched on Etienne. We just talked about A.J. Brown. Mike Evans, I think Antonio Brown's going to have a bigger role than he did last year. And I think Godwin's a freak. I love Godwin. Deontay Johnson, I'm just not a massive believer. I think Juju has a big year, or bigger than last year.
Are people really taking Mark Andrews above Kyle Pitts?
The problem with Mark Andrews is he's far too touchdown dependent. I just don't think that's sustainable. Like if he doesn't score, he's going to get you 3 points. Non-PPR is going to get 3.
His rankings are interesting.
Gesicki, there's too many mouths to feed, and I don't like how much he plays. And then Jonnu Smith, I think he's talented, but unless they change to Mac Jones, and unless Cam is completely healthy, I'm probably staying away.
Interesting. Let's see if there are any other articles to go through here.
Wow, about hit the hour mark on the first episode of season 2.
Now in the weekly hot takes article, Robbie, which is Hot Takes for Life, sent us some hot takes. I have not yet posted them. I don't know how I feel about them. I'm gonna go through some of them right now. I asked him for some fantasy hot takes, and he just totally just ignored that.
Yeah.
He went with Matthew Stafford as the MVP. I mean, these are hot takes, so these are not likely to happen.
Yeah.
But he thinks there's a chance. Washington wins the NFC East again. That's not bad.
I'm not mad at that. I think there's a chance.
Justin Fields wins NFC Rookie of the Year unanimously. That's
I don't know about that one.
That's a lot.
I don't know about that one.
Jamar Chase finishes as a top 10 wideout. I can see that.
It's a hot take, but
I can see that. And Carson Wentz finishes in the top 10.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And then he said, more to come soon.
The Carson Wentz thing, I just don't see. T.Y. Hilton's washed. Michael Pittman's just kind of, in my opinion. They got Mo Ali Cox and Jack Doyle, just kind of
I think Mo Alley Cox, the former basketball player. Let's not get that mixed up. Mo Alley Cox. People are sleeping on him a little bit this year.
I think he's comparable to Jared Cook. It's just kind of like whatever. Like
Jared Cook?
Old, used to be athletic.
Well, how old is Mo Alley Cox? He's not that old.
I'll check for you real quick. Let's see.
He's got to be like 27. That's my guess.
Let's see.
Jared Cook's like 35.
Yeah, he's up there. Yeah, Mo Alley Cox is 27.
See? I know my sleeper tight ends. And I guess Adam Troutman is 24.
Jared Cook is 34.
Fact check me on that, Adam Troutman. I said 24 years old. No, 23. 23.
What's your final answer?
23.
He's 24.
Oh, my goodness. The stud out of Dayton. The stud out of Dayton.
Stud's a stretch. Not a believer.
Are there any other
things
you want to go to where you can find our podcast right there? We plan to add to Spotify right there. I'm not sure about SoundCloud yet. I don't know about that one.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up. How about you give us an outro?
Outro?
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, hold on. I want to go through something real quick. I want to go through one more thing before we wrap this up. I do have a question for you, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the whole DK Metcalf as the wide receiver one. I think that is very unrealistic, very biased.
Why? What about it?
Any follow up there?
You just think it's biased?
I could see where you're coming from, but
I mean, it's very contingent on like the new offensive coordinator being.
So what if they don't let Russ cook?
If they don't, then there's no shot. He's like top 5. No shot.
You can find us on Twitter. We are on the road to 1,100. Hope to hit that before. What's it called, Mark? Preseason?
We're not on the road to 1,100. We're on the road to like 2,000. We're
on the road to 1,100 every step. You can find some articles right here. We have the season rankings pinned. You can go to our link tree right here. It has our YouTube, it has our Spotify, it has our website, everywhere where you can find the podcast. And I think that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Sweet.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. We hope to, put one out next Friday too. And once the season starts picking up, once draft season starts picking up, we hope to get 2 of these out a week. Maybe some live streams during the week. Maybe some mock drafts.
Yeah, the content will be picking up.
More content on the website, more content on the Twitter. And yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.